This is Josh Bycer from GameWisdom.com. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any suggestions for games you'd like me to look at here on the channel, please let me know. Hello, and welcome to this week's Dissecting Design. I am Josh Bycer, and we are going back for this one. I am taking a look at Condemned Criminal Origins. This is, wow, we are really going backwards for this one. Released, I believe, in 2005 on the Xbox. Developed by Monolith Studios, the makers of Fear. And I wanted to do this game after trying and just completely bouncing off of Outlast 2. Condemned Criminal Origins and its sequel, in my mind, does what Five Nights at Freddy's, Outlast, and even something like Amnesia tried to do, but they ultimately failed. And that was putting the player in a situation that they didn't feel completely helpless, while still balancing power. We've talked about this before on multiple videos and discussions, but in my opinion, a major part of horror design is fight or flight. You have to give the player the option, or your game just becomes nothing but trial and error, which is what something like the Outlast series definitely has. So for this video, we're going to look at what made Condemned so special, and while it may not have aged all that well, it still has some really good examples and lessons for horror designers. Now, another thing is, because this is an older game, and I'm not sure how it's going to handle with streaming or recording and whatnot, we're going to try to do these in one take, or try not to cut in and out, because I'm not sure how this will work when we get in there. But, as we're loading things up, Condemned series, chances are you've probably heard someone mention this as, survival horror bum fights, and I think that is pretty accurate. We're basically chasing down serial killers in the worst parts of towns, as you can tell by that, looks like autopsy bird in the upper right. And basically, the homeless and whatnot have gone crazy. We play our FBI agent here, who also just so happens to suffer from visions and not sure what's real or not. And he looks very blocky, as you can tell. Now, unfortunately, as another interesting aside about this being an old game, despite being released on the Xbox, I can't use my Xbox controller. Oh, jeez, that was a great thing there while I was talking, to play this game on the PC. I'm also running this on hard mode, which means enemies do even more damage. But since I can skip this, I'm going to actually, I'm going to break my previously mentioned rule. I'm going to cut the video here, and we'll start back up again in a second. Alright, welcome back. So, one of the things I also do want to appreciate about Condemned is that the flashlight is powerful, and it doesn't run out of juice. So I am not forced to, balance that while trying to figure out what's going on. Now, a major part of what makes Condemned different from other horror games, and even the contemporary ones at the time, is on its kind of puzzle solving. The thing about the game is that it's all about the weapon that you're wielding. Do I still have my taser? Yes, I do. And the different weapons are used as tools or as keys for various things. For instance, a fire axe would break open a wooden door. I'm going to use a shovel here to break the electrical gate. Now, this does get a little bit repetitive, and we'll talk more about the problems with the game in a few minutes. But the really good thing about Condemned, like I said, is that it balances fear and power. Yes, we are holding a weapon right now, and we can beat people up with it. But we're not Superman. And the enemies fight much like us. Looking around for anything crazy. They'll grab various weapons off the walls, the ground, whatever, and try to kill us with them. This is what I think a lot of modern or contemporary horror games today kind of struggle with. Balancing both the player and the enemy's options. In games like Outlast and the like, the player has no means of fighting back. While other horror games such as Dead Space, The Evil Within, and so on... Oh, looks like there's an investigation here. Ah. Then there's these little parts like this. This is just to get clues and whatnot. And it also opens up the lore. One thing that the second game did a lot better is that the investigation sections are more about adventure gameplay, and you trying to figure out what's going on and actually rewarding you for doing it. But as I was saying, in games like The Evil Within or Dead Space, you're always fighting monsters, so the relationship isn't equal. You have guns or melee weapons, and they have claws, teeth, and all manner of craziness. In Condemned, you are fighting other humans, so there's this I'm not sure what the term I want to use. Rustic? Simple? I'm not sure. Like, I'm failing on the word that I want to use to describe it. It's like a beatdown kind of effect of the game. Oh, wait, did we find something? There we go. Maybe more authentic is what I'm thinking of. Like in Outlast and the games like it, or like Five Nights, you are very passive. And it doesn't really fit with what would happen if you were in that situation. I know in Outlast, if I found a cleaver on the table, I would pick that thing up and use it as a weapon. And that's kind of the great thing about Condemned, is that it is just that. I'm going to find the nearest thing I can use and beat the crap out of someone with it. Like this. Ow, you son of a... How you like me now? There we go. That was like the perfect timing, too. So the game is about just picking up whatever you have available to use it. Now, weapons don't break in this one. I don't think they break in the second one either, but they have different stats based on their damage, reach, and of course how quickly you can swing it. So I'm going to keep the crowbar because I like the speed, and it reminds me of Gordon Freeman. But again, uh-oh. Get off me, you. Again, it's just like a knockdown slugfest in Condemned, and that's what I really do appreciate for it. The enemies are only as powerful as I am. Now, granted, I do get a taser, which they don't have, but again, this is all about just using whatever you can find to survive. As you can see, we can pick up pipes. And we can't pick up cheese poofs. And the environment is designed to be, again, like very much realistic. We're not going to be exploring space stations or fighting in hell. Although there are hallucinations in this game. Instead, we're going to be in subways, malls. I think at one point we were in a bowling alley, or that may actually be in the second one. And we're just trying to look around and see what we can find. Can we open this stuff? Oh look, we have a gun. And range weapons in Condemned are very powerful, but they are limited. In fact, I think I may just keep my crowbar. I know the graphics have not aged well, and that's again just the product of the times. There are collectibles, there's metal plates, and lovely enough, dead birds to find. and these are used for achievement purposes. It also doesn't help that I have the sound even lower than I would normally have it, which makes it even harder to tell when enemies are coming at me. Hello, is anyone here? Now, the first game, combat is very basic. We have an attack, you have a block, and that's it. The second game throws in the concept of combos. And from a mechanical standpoint, I think it is better than this one. But the first Condemned has more of that down-home feel to it, or more of a realistic feel.
Listen and be quiet. I don't have long. The police are now searching, or more properly destroying your apartment. You have no faith in your innocence.
But I am innocent.
I know that. You must prove that.
And by the way, this conversation is kind of important for the problems with Condemned 2. The second game introduces a lot more supernatural and crazy elements to it. I think it robs the first game of that same kind of quality that the original Silent Hill games had. That you never quite knew what was going on, and the game never really explained it either. The second game goes like really, well, look at you. Well, it looks like we're about to have some fun. Ow, son of a... Oh, how did he hit me? Take that. But yeah, the second game becomes more about... It has a greater focus on gunplay and special powers. Which again, I think it robs the first game of this mystery. Now, as we keep going along. Again, the game is all about putting you in this crazy position. You know there's enemies around. You know you're in like a regular office, but where are they coming from? And how are you going to handle them? And like I said, your weapons as tools motif is pretty much the game's only real form of puzzle solving. What was that? Anything over here? And again, the game is a little bit buggy as well for being so old. So right here, I can't go forward without finding the sledgehammer, which will just so happen to be at the end of a very long corridor, I'm sure with lots of windows and closets waiting to be opened. A lot of the game is scripted based, with enemies appearing based on you activating certain triggers. But once the enemy is around, they will tend to be reactive. Again, they'll try and find new weapons, they'll hide, and see if they can catch you off guard. Can't go through that way. But again, this is a good example of like the pacing. There hasn't been any attacks in a few minutes. We don't know where the next threat is going to come from. It could be at any second now. Did we find anything? In games like Outlast, like the situations are just always on. You're always being chased. And then there's a few seconds of lure. Now look, we have a shotgun. What the hell? How much ammo do we have? Oh, we only have one left. Again, this is the important point. Ranged weapons are incredibly powerful in Condemned, but they're never a long-term solution. It's just about picking up whatever you can find nearby. Uh-oh. Does that guy have a gun? Oh, good. You used all the bullets. Great. Well, we're going back to the crowbar. Gordon Freeman, be proud. And we're still trying to find the sledgehammer that we need to get going. What was that? Well, we're hallucinating. Dun dun dun. Alright. We got the sledgehammer, which again is the tool that we need to get going. That's the way out. And like I said, there are collectibles for people who go off the beaten path. Usually, there we go. So we have these metal plates. And then there are dead birds, too. And Monolith's love of these generic environments would really come to a head with Fear, which just basically took place in nothing but office complexes and parking lots that blow stuff up. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So hit me. Oh no. So the advantage of the sledgehammer, it's really powerful, but it's also really slow. So if I can get the hit, I can usually kill him. But it's also a lot more unwieldy to block. Did I hear something? Oop, I hit the wrong button. So that's why we'll probably switch to something else. Once we've used this. Is this the right way? No. There it is. And yeah. Oh look, a mannequin arm. Yes, you can pick that up. Alright, I'm ready for you. I'm armed. Let's see. We'll take the pipe. Who doesn't like a lead pipe? There's one level later into Condemned that's really great for its mood. Actually, there's two. One that takes place in a dilapidated mall, where you're in an area surrounded by mannequins. Some are real, and then there are those that are just men waiting around to kill you. And then the final level takes place in a barn or in a farmhouse, so you're trying to find the killer, and there's all manner of craziness going on. And this was expanded on Condemned 2, which again had greater focus on the adventure side. Sadly, at the expense, when you have Crowbar.
Thomas speaking.
Ethan, it's Van Horn.
How do you know this number anyway?
I know many things about you, Ethan. Since your father's death, I've watched you, hoping that you would find your potential.
My potential?
Yes. You've become an excellent investigator. Not through training or luck, but instinctually. However, you'll find that you are capable of seeing so much more.
Yeah. It's a shame that the second one went with the, let's jack everything, or let's pump everything up to 11 in terms of story and situations. There's one part where you're just basically fighting in the Matrix, in this crazy futuristic area, which again kind of betrays what they did in the first Condemned. We'll see if we can find a crowbar and open up that safe. Now, another thing that the second game did that was very controversial had to do with its progression system, but we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Oh, thank you, crowbar. And usually safes will hold either items we can use, and we got 3 shots. So we better make them count. Oh, yes. This is going to be a fun part. We are about to get into some serious fighting. Oh! In a big room like this, you know there's never just one guy. Don't finally see the whites of their eyes. I don't think he's getting up from that one. We're getting close. Did I hear something? There it is. And the collectibles in this game can be a little hard, or it can be a little bit annoying to go out there since they are really off the beaten path in a lot of cases. Oh. Cock that shotgun. And again, the balance of power is such a really good part what makes Condemn work. I'm not going to run into any supernatural enemies or like enemies that can like fly around or those that are going to force me into a crazy situation. Again, I'm using wherever I can find the environment just as they are. And I have 2 more shots. Oh, jeez. Come on, buddy. No. Oh, good. I can. I didn't know that you could actually just use the gun as a club. Looks like someone had Chinese, and they will also fight each other too. I'll take the pipe. Follow. Oh. And how can you not like tasering a crazy bum and smacking him with a pipe? Well, as I was saying, the investigation parts in the first game are very linear to the game's detriment. The sequel, which sadly is not available on Steam, is so much better. And I really wish I could show that off just so you can see how great it is. But they actually ask you to think about what's happening and try and deduce the situation from there. Bum fights. Haha! 2 for the price of 1 there. Nice. And look, there's a sledgehammer in the trash. Of course. So there's probably either a secret or more items in here. We got health. Oh good, a shotgun. Only 2 rounds this time. Great. But yeah, as you can see, the game is very much one note in this kind of appeal. What we're doing in this level is going to be very similar to what we're doing in every level. And another thing that Condemned does, which could be debatable, is that there aren't new enemies in this game. Like, we're going to be basically fighting the same deranged bums for the vast majority of our experience. So, nothing really will be added in terms of new enemies. We may fight some gun battles, but it's never going to be the focus. But again, it's great that we're in the dark, right? So I'm missing a fire axe. And again, it's going to be probably at the end of a very long corridor. Where could it be? Thought I heard something. Did I just go into a circle? No, we're still in the place. Of course. Damn elevators. Why must flimsy wooden doors be stopping me? Alright. Here we go. Ah, the sewer. Another staple of first-person games, right? But this is actually a really good point here. That here I am, I have a weapon, I have the means to defend myself, but I'm still on edge. Because even though I have power, so do the enemies. I always like to talk about one of my favorite movies, Evil Dead 2, and how even though Ash has a chainsaw and a boomstick, he is always terrified by the situation. Now, the difference though in that, of course, is that we are dealing, it's not one-to-one between the protagonist and the antagonist. But it just goes to show that you can't, that you don't need monsters to make the player to give challenge. Likewise, the player can still defend themselves and still be in a scared of what's going on. Next snap. Just like that. Oh, look. This time we'll do a ram. Anybody else want some? I am killer of crazy bums. I would really like to scream, "Here's Johnny," but I think that's been overplayed at this point. Oh, it's axe versus axe, eh? Look at him trying to get me. Peekaboo. Which we should be at the power box any second. 1 and 2. Oh, good. I think I know what's about to happen. Hey! I was busy looking at stuff. And that's the power, again, of these larger weapons. Very slow, but you can easily take these guys out with it. But if you miss, you're in trouble. Uh-oh. What was that? Chop, chop. Get in there. And again, a moment of relief as we start to think about what the hell we're going to do next. Again, as you watch this video so far, take note of the pacing of Condemned. We're not fighting like every 5 seconds. Instead, we have moments of excitement. Oh, jeez. Followed by that lull. Again, the build-up and the release. You need both for effective horror. Oh, jeez. So we go in a few. So now we're at that point where we're just like thinking about when's. Oh, jeez. The next fight going to happen. And that's going to put us more on edge. And the fact that we're in a very small area isn't helping. Again, they could be around any corner and attack us at any time. And that's what you want in a horror game. Jeez. Stop proving my point, game. But again, you never know when... Hey! Get off me, you. Jeez. These guys just don't know when to leave me alone. So as I was saying, you never know... Is that someone over there? You never know when a fight is about to happen. And even though things are technically scripted, it doesn't feel like the developer's hand is guiding you in a sense. Like, we're not going to walk... Like, it's not like a game where you walk into a big room and you automatically know there's going to be a fight. Instead, we know that there's going to be triggers, so we just know when they're going to come. Here? Oh, jeez. And all weapons have ammunition. So he can run out. He was shooting with a damn shotgun. Uh-oh. Damn. And enemies can pick up other weapons that were left behind. I am going to need my big old axe. And I think once we finish this level, or maybe in like the next 2 or 3 minutes, we'll move on to the next part of our talk. Oh, jeez. Again, it's such a slow weapon. You really need to like lead them into the attack. Oh, look at that. Aw. Oh, good. Nothing bad could happen here, right? It's all nice and clean and happy. Oh, good. A dead bird in the toilet. Oh, looks like we're on to something. And again, I really wish that the second game sold better, because the investigation parts, I think, really could have been amazing if more games would have copied it. Uh-oh. Oh, son of a... These guys really won't get me, don't they? Oh, here's a hallucination again. And it's one of those games where it just so happens that everywhere we're wandering to, there's a major break in the case. Ah. So it's time for a little detective work. Ooh. Oh, good. What do we... Ah. That's our helper there. Mm-hmm. I'm sure nothing but good can come from us exploring a serial killer's house. Oh. What was that? While they're going through this, so like I said, the game just basically keeps to this play. We explore a run-down, dilapidated environment, and our only real puzzle solving, again, is just trying to find the right tool to open up whatever door is in our way. But, oh, sounds like we have some excitement. Whoa. Who that was. Ooh. Uh-oh. Get him. We'll probably get some health first. We should be nearing the end of this level. Find out how to get back there. I think we can just hop this, right? Another thing that I do like about Condemned is the fact that, again, we are technically an FBI agent, so we are trained, but we're not martial artists, master assassins kind of thing. And it's too often that modern horror designers think that being a regular civilian means that you are weak, that you can't do anything. But that's not the case. And again, this game is a very backroom brawl, or back alley brawl kind of feel to it. So I believe we should be coming to the end. Yeah, he's going to get out there. We need to follow him. So I think there's one more big fight. Then we leave, and then we'll head back to the menu for my final thoughts, and I'll talk about that controversial thing that the second game did. That's some reach, ain't it? Alright, we are almost out. But it's about to get crazy. Oh. Oh. That's not freaky at all. And we are out. Alright. So when you beat the game, or when you beat a level, you get achievements. And depending upon how much you find, you'll get more. But that is actually a really good point. And it takes me to the problems of the game, or what the second game added that I think kind of hurt the series as a whole, which we'll talk about next. To wrap up our talk on Condemned Criminal Origins, I want to focus on why the series kind of died out with the second game. The first game obviously sold well enough to warrant a sequel, and like I said, it was a really good example of horror design in my opinion. What the second game did was, again, try to pump everything up to 11, but at the same time it diluted what made the first game work. There was a greater emphasis on combat, not just melee, but range. There were several levels that you basically just kept entirely with guns, which in a series like this is a no-no. It would be like in Silent Hill if they decide to just give you a Gatling gun for about 2 hours of play. The second game did improve on the foundation of the mechanics with a greater emphasis on the close-range combat, but here is the tricky part, and I want to get your thoughts on this for those of you watching this. Condemned 2 implemented a reward system. After each level, you get some kind of upgrade that's going to stay with you. It could be body armor that gives you more health, a holster that holds more ammo, or even things that make your weapons do more damage and stuff along those lines. But here's the thing. This was tied to your progress in the level. What you just watched with me going through the second level of the game with collecting the metal plates and the dead birds, in the second game, that was tied to your upgrades. So what happened was each upgrade had a bronze, silver, and gold variant. With the bronze always being you will always get the bronze reward. But as you go up from bronze to gold, the reward becomes better. And in a game like this, especially on hard mode, having your upgrades be tied to achievement hunting like this was very debatable, because it can make certain parts of the game a lot harder or a lot easier depending upon how you played. And worst off was that if you wanted to go back, you had to basically just reload your game and do the level again. And remember when I talked about the adventure elements, that was also tied to it. So you could get like 80% through the game, through a level, you're almost done, and then you click the wrong choice during an adventure segment, and now you don't have the perfect score for gold anymore, so you now have to reload the entire thing, or reload to wherever your checkpoint was. And I thought that wasn't a good idea. I like the idea of having rewards that actually improve the game, but tying it into collectible hunting, I think, kind of pushed things a little too far. But like I said, let me know what you think. And then the last part, Condemned 2 fell into the... actually, I think Condemned 2 is now considered the example of this. That the next game in the series tried to explain everything. And it certainly went crazy with that one. We had super bums, special powers, a cult that runs the entire world, and it just got crazier and crazier. But it robs the first game of that mystique, that you're just exploring a city while trying to figure out what the hell is going on. You're not the chosen one who must save the world from our invisible enemies, kind of thing. And sadly, Condemned 2 ended the series. But it's kind of weird that, from a mechanics standpoint, it is a lot better, but the first game is remembered more fondly for its horror aspects than the second one. For those of you who have played the Condemned series like myself, which game do you prefer? But with that said, we're going to wrap it up. Sorry this isn't the best looking video here, but again, we're talking about a game that's now just about, I think, 12 years old. So there's not a lot we can do to make things look super pretty. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you are new, be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know if you have any suggestions for future Dissecting Designs. And check back daily for more discussions on game design here and on GameWisdom.com, with Dissecting Design pieces usually happening once a week. So, with that said, thanks for watching this look back at Condemned Criminal Origins, and I will catch you all next time. Take care. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and of course share with your friends. It always helps out. For daily posts on all manner of game design and industry topics, check out game-wisdom.com. To support the site and everything that I do, be sure to check out the Patreon campaign. If we can hit goals, it will mean more content for everyone to enjoy, and I'll be able to support myself and my household. If you want to follow me, you can find me on Twitter at GWBycer for updates throughout the day and random thoughts from me. And lastly, you can find me on Twitch right over there at GWBycer for daily streams most nights around 10 Eastern. Thanks again for watching the video, and be sure to check out more great content coming to the Game Wisdom channel real soon.